In the past, The Voice has constantly been one of the most thrilling forums for exposing raw musical talent, and the blind auditions that took place during season 27 have proven to be no exception to this rule. William Casanova's awe-inspiring delivery of Do For Love, a song that had everyone in the crowd and the four great coaches, Michael Bublé, Adam Levine, John Legend, and Kelsey Ballerini, utterly fascinated, stands out as the most memorable performance among the numerous remarkable moments that occurred during the competition. An emotional and unforgettable moment that will be spoken about for years to come. What began as a powerful display of vocal skill quickly changed into a more memorable and emotional experience. It was with an unassuming assurance that William Casanova made his entrance onto the stage. His presence was so subtle that it did not provide any indication of the immensity of his brilliance. As soon as the spotlight was directed toward him, his soulful energy instantly reverberated throughout the auditorium, capturing the attention of the audience. Casanova's deep, expressive voice was a fantastic match for the song Do For Love, which was originally performed by Bobby Caldwell. This song is well known for its seamless combination of R&B, soul, and pop, and it was the perfect choice for him to perform. However, it was not only his vocal prowess that stole the show. It was the way that he made the song his own, the way that he connected to each note with such depth that it felt as if he was telling a story that only he could tell. As soon as the song's introduction started, Casanova's voice immediately filled the room with its silky and emotional quality. The lyrics were brought to life by him, and he did more than just sing them. It was a sophisticated rendition, weaving a careful balance between technical talent and emotional emotion. His interpretation was subtle. He was able to smoothly handle the tough vocal range with apparent ease, and you could hear the passion in every phrase that he produced. People in the crowd and coaches alike felt chills go down their spines as they listened to the lyrical depth of his voice, which reverberated throughout the room. It became increasingly obvious with each passing second that Casanova was not merely a contestant. Not to be outdone, he was a formidable opponent. It became increasingly difficult for the coaches to conceal their responses as the song progressed. Michael Bublé, who is renowned for his deep, baritone vocals and superb sense of timing, leaned forward in his chair and nodded his head in admiration. As he observed a performance who had the ability to compete with the very best, his normally placid demeanor began to break. Adam Levine, who has been exposed to hundreds of voices throughout the course of his career, was noticeably impressed, his normally cool facade shifting into shock with wide-eyed expressions. Even John Legend, whose own vocal range is exceptional, couldn't help but be impressed by Casanova's ability to regulate his emotions and his seamless control of his voice. Kelsey Ballerini, a celebrity in the country pop music scene, appeared to be taken away by the casual manner in which Casanova transitioned between several musical genres. He drew inspiration from the rich traditions of soul, pop, and R&B in a way that was both contemporary and timeless. However, the emotions of the coaches were not the only thing that contributed to the exceptional nature of Casanova's performance. It refers to the reaction of the audience. As soon as Casanova reached the high notes of the song, the audience exploded in cheers, and the atmosphere was immediately filled with excitement. His ability to create real emotion through his voice was palpable, and he had the audience eating out of his fingers. They were hanging on to every note as if it were the last possible note. There was something alluring about his presence, something that gave the impression that he wasn't just there to perform, rather, he was there to leave his stamp on the world. In the closing moments of the song, when it reached its climax, Casanova threw every ounce of energy he possessed into the final few notes, achieving a level of intensity that was nothing short of astonishing. During the little pause that occurred as the final note hung in the air, there was a moment of silence before the entire room enthusiastically applauded. It was more than simply a courteous applause. This was a collective acknowledgement of something amazing, and it was demonstrated by a standing ovation. For a few instants, it seemed as though every single person on the planet was holding their breath so that they could acknowledge the fact that what they had just seen was something genuinely remarkable. When it came to turning their chairs, the coaches did not waste any time. Michael Bublé, who has always been a master of the dramatic pause, was the first person to stand up and express his admiration. His voice carried with the enthusiasm of his admiration. It was with a tone that reverberated with the kind of praise that only an artist of his stature could impart that he replied, "William, you just turned a classic into something that is entirely your own. The fact that you are able to make a song your own is a remarkable talent, and it represents something very remarkable." As someone who is never one to hold back his compliments, Adam Levine continued by saying, "Dude, that was insane. Due to the fact that your voice is so distinctive, I believe that we may really do something remarkable together. I could feel it in my very bones." With his extensive background in both jazz and mainstream music, John Legend, who is considered to be one of the most discerning coaches on the program, was similarly impressed. He expressed his enthusiasm by saying, "I felt every emotion you were singing about," and his voice was tinted with affection. It is impossible to teach someone the type of depth that you possess, which is what makes a song connect with the listener. It is a present. Also speaking up was Kelsey Ballerini, who exuded the warmth that is characteristic of her, her eyes widening in awe. "That was fantastic in every possible way. You have this very unusual ability to make a song sound like it was written by you, and that is something that is quite remarkable. During your trip, I would be delighted to collaborate with you." The atmosphere was charged with frenzy. It appeared as though every coach was competing for the opportunity to collaborate with this extraordinary talent, since they were all aware that William Casanova had the potential to be the one who would lead their team to victory. In addition to being a competition, his performance had surpassed the boundaries of the show. It was no longer a matter of selecting a coach. Rather, it was a matter of making a decision that would take his already amazing career to the next level. Everyone in that room was aware of the fact that Casanova was on the verge of becoming a big star. After receiving encouraging feedback from each of the 4 coaches, Casanova found himself in the fortunate position of having to select his coach. The selection he made was not only a reflection of his artistic ability, but also of his comprehension of the things he required to further develop his sound. In the end, he decided to go with John Legend because he seemed to have the ideal combination of soul and technical skill to complement Casanova's opulent vocal approach. The performance of Do For Love by Casanova was nothing short of legendary, and it served as a brilliant representation of what the voice is all about: talent that is unfiltered and raw, talent that defies genre, and talent that resonates with the very spirit of music. During the performance, you were able to feel every word, every note, and every emotional shift that was being performed. William Casanova has once again demonstrated to the world that he is a formidable opponent, and as the season continues, it is becoming increasingly apparent that he is going to be a significant contender. Although he has only just started his journey, the impact of his performance will be engraved indelibly into the annals of The Voice's history for all time.